The only moment I found myself smart was when I was 15 years old and I was working in a restaurant, and I say I can't cut tomatoes all my life, and then I decide that as soon as possible I would go inside this studio, try to get accepted in the studio and be a photographer. That was the only intelligent moment in my life. In 1986, I started to work as a photographer, professionist. I worked in photojournalism for many years, and now it's a hybrid of many things.
I've always been very interested in city walls, like graffiti, and how walls get a life of their own after a while when people put postings, like posters or announcements or like writings. And these people you meet, like very short periods of time, and how it evolves into mostly art pieces. I was walking around the city in Arles, I was like, oh, that would be a great idea to have some sort of, also these fragments of their trips in Congo.
The idea behind the project was to create an opportunity for contemporary artists to freely document the Congo and interpret what they experienced through the project.
Me and Paolo, we had something that we want to develop in our photography. In 2004 we did an exhibition together with other two photographers, Thomas Dvorak and Ilka Uimonen. It was a really important exhibition for us. Me and Paolo, we decided why we don't do again an experience similar to the one we had in 2004. And then we start we start to travel to Congo.
In 2012, we started production in the Congo and started traveling to the Congo with Paolo and Alex. The photography lasted over a period of 2 years, and then we spent another 6 to 9 months really getting the edit to the point where we were happy, designing the book, printing the book, and also designing the exhibition. And then once the team was assembled, my role was to try and create the conditions for them to do the best work possible. Once we built the team of the photographers, Daria Birong, who is our curator and photo editor, Yolanda Cuomo, who is our book designer, assisted by Bonnie Bryant. Once the team came together, it became very clear that the project was going to be a collaborative authorship. And it was also driven by the idea of Paolo and Alex from their previous experience to not use descriptive captions to try and place an individual image, and to also not rely on a signature authorship by an individual author, but really let the voices all come together and let the viewers interpret their own narrative from the pictures.
It's a melting pot of brains, not only me and Paolo. It was like a group project, I would say, rather than anything else. Me and Paolo, historically and traditionally, we are black and white photographers, I would say. Not that we disregard the color, but for us, came naturally photographing black and white. All our life we traveled, we worked for magazines, we worked for any sort of commission. We start in the same way like we would start any job. And we start to freestyle, and start to photograph everything, capture our eyes, and everything was matching with the idea with the project we intended to do in Congo.
Photographers have a lot of times, they have difficulty kind of steering their project into a certain way of how to show it. They're not so good at editing it. They're great with taking the picture. Because of the difficulty in the different styles and different formats, and two different photographers, and also the many places that they visited, like the jungle and the pygmies, by the beach, they're by the river, they're by the city, so there's a lot of different atmospheres and styles in the project. Then I thought to make some sort of a narrative out of that for the book.
The inaugural presentation was in November of 2014, and it was presented as a private preview in Paris at the Atelier Richelieu. Just this last summer, we showed the project in its full form in its first public exhibition at the Rencontre d'Arles in the south of France, which is a very important photography festival. And the work was shown at the Magasin Électrique. The exhibition opened in the beginning of July and ran through the end of September, and then it immediately thereafter traveled here to Lagos.
The beauty, I think, of these exhibitions, there is another eye, another person that dig in the archive, pull out things that can match together, that reinvent photographers, reinvent a language, etc. Same thing for the book with Yolanda and Daria. You know, the book is again, it's not really, oh, this is a better picture. It's all how the pictures connect together, switching page and which kind of emotion comes after, what connects the picture after with the picture before. I mean, this contortionist is next to this collage of tanks, and it creates a synergy with the contortion. And then at the same time, before there's a big tree, the material of the tree again goes down and remembers the legs of the contortionist. It's all connected. It's difficult to go in a country and to pretend to know what is happening there and show what's happening there. It's always a subjective matter. And we try also in the edit to get away from that attitude.
Since the project was finished, it was super important to us to bring the work back to Africa, and we're planning to do a show also in the Republic of Congo.
We found that we didn't want to give any message. We can see what we experience, we can show our intentions. We don't have any authority to say what it is Congo.